It's Nolan. Now, before we get started, make sure y'all hitting that like button. Make sure y'all sharing it on your respective platforms. Let somebody know what we're doing today. Now, let's get into the show. Now that I got your attention, I guess I should probably mention I got a new album available now on my site. Nigga, fuck all that whining and bitching. You looking for greatness, then I'm the description. Dropping me by like a prison. Twisting your brow like ignition and split, nigga. That's what I call on the vision. I'm finna infiltrate, you cannot imitate. I'm from a pedigree, this is not Triple H. I took a road, you can't travel like Triple A. Do the impossible, just like a triple play. Genuine energy, I am not Timberlake. But a nigga too insane. Try for the money, but to pull up in the ring. So I can give a what the fuck about what a nigga think. I'm on some new shit, elevated my rubric. I'm an industry nuisance, giving my 2 cents. Telling niggas what the truth is. It ain't even about music. Everybody wanna know the cheat code. Bitch, I got bops on reload. I was just on live 2 hours straight. Ain't playing not one repeat song. I'm ready for the spotlight. I was on the block like a stoplight. Every day I catch lightning in the bottle. The niggas told lies, but not hitting spots twice. Couple years I was living on fried rice. Like a dream when I got to eat Popeyes. Gotta beat them and get your whole top 5. Spit heat on top like a rabbi. It's Nolan. What's going on, beautiful people? It's the kid J Nolan here. Welcome back to another episode of Inside the Industry, and I'm source for music, entertainment, commentary, and breakdowns. Hope everybody's doing well out there this evening. As y'all know, I did my reaction video to Megan Thee Stallion at Coachella, Megchella, yesterday, and I gave her nothing but credit. And actually, I think it was Monday, yesterday. Anyway. Did that and gave her nothing but credit, nothing but love, respect. Her, Queen Latifah, Sierra, Victoria Monet. Overall, great job. You know what I'm saying? Like how she opened the show, like the song selection, all that good stuff. Even songs that I wasn't crazy about when I heard them on the projects, I thought that they translated well into performance. I want to address that real quick too, because I seen somebody that said, damn, J Nolan, what songs do you like? Why is it that if I dislike 3 songs out of a 20 song performance, or a 20 song lineup, I should say, because I actually like the performance of the records. If I dislike 3 songs out of 20, why is that like some sort of bad ratio? If I like 17 out of 20, you know what I'm saying, you reverse the way that it's presented. If I like 17 out of 20 records, that pretty much lets me know that's a high percentage of records that I like. There's no artist shooting 100% in my estimation. You could go down any list you want from my personal GOATs of Jay, Nas, Kendrick, Cole, Lupe. Go down the list. All of them got an album or 2 I don't rock with as much as the others. Go to any album, all of them gonna probably have at least 4 or 5 songs I ain't always trying to hear. I don't give a fuck what their name is. That's just me. Just addressing that because I saw the comment. Now, moving on. Shout out to Armon Wiggins. I see that you've been going viral on the Twitter, for your reaction to Megan Thee Stallion's Coachella performance. And I want to say, for anybody who came to this video expecting some sort of drama or some sort of, I don't know what y'all expect, but it ain't going to be that. You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Armon. Never spoken to him in person or anything like that, but cool dude, nonetheless. So his reaction was a little bit more of a critique on Megan Thee Stallion. He said she was beautiful. He said that she had a good performance, but he took issue with, I guess, the Bigfoot thing in relation to Nicki Minaj. He's not all that keen on the song selection for the performance. And in so many ways, I think he actually said that Megan is being passive aggressive by, kind of taunting Nicki while not necessarily doing the diss record hiss at the show. That's just kind of the top level stuff. I'm going to play some of his video from his channel to get into his actual words. I do want to start with he did have positive things to say about it. He said that he loved her being able to get on stage and perform with other icons and stuff like that. And the the element of living your dream and all that stuff. I want to acknowledge the positive before we get to the negative, because a lot of times we don't do that in the reaction space. But I do think his take was a little bit controversial and it's rubbed some people the wrong way. So let's go ahead and pull up exactly what Armon had to say as it pertains to the negatives in the show, and just see if we could get a little bit of clarity and context, and maybe offer some additional context to see if maybe, he can reconstruct his view a little bit. Not to say he's going to change his perspective, and maybe he don't need to. But let's go ahead and see what we got. So here we are on Armon's channel, and I'm starting this at the 6:49 mark. So the top of the video, he's giving a lot of credit to Missy Elliott, because all of this is being covered in the same video. He talks about how magnificent her performance was at Coachella. It was a magnificent performance. The discography, the catalog, the bells and whistles she brought out, she did an excellent job. You know what I'm saying? But then as it gets further into the video, he takes on the Megan Thee Stallion topic. So let's see what he says.
So shout out to her, and I know it had to feel good, and she did her thing on that. Now let's get into some of the negativity, okay? For me, I'm glad that she kind of got away from the dancers from the beginning, because for a minute it was getting a little bit like, okay, it was too crowded on the stage for me, and I couldn't really get into Megan Thee Stallion as much as I wanted to do. That was thing number one. Thing number two was something was going on with the microphone where I felt like I couldn't really hear what she was saying, okay?
I do got to say, you can't hold her accountable for the technical difficulties. That was something that was going through the whole show. And I actually like the dancers and her doing the choreography and all that stuff. But we'll continue.
And then thing number three, while Megan Thee Stallion is a beautiful performer, beautiful girl, something was just disconnecting for me. I think, and this is when we get into the Nicki Minaj piece, I think, unfortunately, yes, there are songs that we knew. There were songs that we were excited about. But something musically just does not stick for me with a Megan Thee Stallion show. Here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this: I feel like Megan Thee Stallion without the performance element is a boring show, because I did kind of feel myself zoning out, getting on my phone, thinking about what I was going to have for dinner the next day, scrolling on Instagram.
I do find that to be a little bit of a contradiction. All love, Armon, but that's contradictory. You can't say, apart from putting on a great show, it's a boring show. That doesn't really make sense. We gotta be honest about that. You know what I mean? You did a great performance, but outside of the performance, it was boring. It don't really work like that, man. But I think his reason for saying that is he was not as interested in the music. And as somebody who consumed Armon's content last year, I believe he wasn't all that big on Megan's projects. So Act 1, Act 2, I don't recall him being like super invested into those projects. I think he liked Act 2 better than Act 1. But if you're not into those records, then yeah, you definitely weren't going to be into her Coachella performance, because a lot of that music was performed. She's basically doing a lot of her current stuff. She kind of opened with some of her older material. She threw in some of the, the hits like the Savage and the Thought Shit and other stuff. But she kept it very current at the same time. So if you weren't into the last couple offerings from Megan Thee Stallion, then you probably weren't going to be into the song selections. But as artists, typically, if they're in a specific era, they have a specific project out, in her case too, then it is going to work to her benefit to go out there and perform her most recent records, because her fans are still enthralled into that catalog or that collection or those collections of music. But again, he wasn't really into the music she released last year. So of course he's not going to be as connected to the performance when those songs are played. We'll continue.
I'm seeing who I can text, things like that. At some point, I did space out of the performance. However, I did like, once she got solo, I could really kind of get into her a little bit more. But this is when the music, to me, I realized, something there is falling short. And I don't know if it's a combination of the music, like the songs, and the flow, or what, because it feels like the flow is so fast, the songs aren't that great. So it's like when she is by herself, I can't really, like, as a female rapper, and you supposed to be, you know, the Black Virginia George, you the mean girl, you a bad bitch, you don't give a, you know what I mean? I need you, and I'm not saying be Nicki, but I mean a little bit. Give me a Nicki, like make it stick. Slow down and let it sink in. Let it stick. I feel like it's da 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 da. I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. Let me do a split. It's just so many moving parts all at once, and I feel like when you're a female rapper, right? I'm coming to hear you talk your. And so I don't know if the songs lyrically are strong enough for her to just stand on the mic and spit it and let it sink in and let it stick.
So for this piece here, comparing her to Nicki Minaj stage performance wise, I think this is a little bit of a disservice to both artists. They're both from very different places. Nicki being from New York, which is, you know, hip hop mecca. So her standpoint and her development as an artist was more so coming up in the ranks of getting in the cypher, not the televised or recorded ciphers, but actual circle ciphers where you had to really like captivate a crowd of people and make your verse stand out, right? These are things that don't happen as often these days. They're kind of like one-off things. Ciphers have been turned into, visual projects more so than testing of skill, right? So Nicki was conditioned under those things. New York, you gotta elbow your way through for a motherfucker to listen to you, and that comes off in Nicki's character, how she portrays herself, how she, her whole aura is very abrasive, right? So when she gets on stage, that's the type of energy she brings because that's the type of person that she is. That's the type of music she makes. Everybody's her son. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's a little different. Her music doesn't have so much of the bounce as a Megan Thee Stallion, who is coming from Houston, Texas, coming from the South. In the South, if your shit don't got the bounce and the bang and hitting the 808, your shit ain't catching no steam in the South. So these are two very different artists with two very different regional sounds, two very different perspectives as it pertains to hip hop, because the conditioning that they were raised in hip hop is vastly different. So I think the comparison between the two is going to look different. Megan Thee Stallion is a very choreographed artist. She has a natural knack pretty much for dancing and all of this different type of stuff. Nicki Minaj, that's not her strong point. She has dancers on stage. She'll engage with them a little bit, but that's not her strong point, right? So you can't just take one and put them in each other's set on stage and expect them to still thrive under those conditions of each one. I don't think that's a fair comparison. The is the bounce of the South. What Southern artists have we seen in the last 10, 15 years that has not been in that bounce? Right? Nicki even exists within that bounce, but she does it more so on features than her own shit. But of course, if you go to Big Difference, she kind of had that bounce too, right? But it's a little bit more of a rarity on her end because she'll do more of the slow flow and like just talk to niggas. You feel me? So again, I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Or it's the flow is too fast. She can't really get into the pocket. You get what I'm saying? It's like from the outside looking.
And let's not act like Megan Thee Stallion is getting up there like Ice Spice, because Ice Spice does all this. You know what I'm saying? Not the shit on her, but like her records are way too fast for a concise performance. But they are very different performers if we're even gonna take that and Megan. Like Ice is out of her league, but we're not even here to talk about that. But I'm just saying, let's not act like she's doing that.
In, great, beautiful, great job. If you're comparing her against herself, or maybe, other female artists that are coming, like she's a performer. Got it. But when we talk about rap and just really spitting and really getting into what you're saying, yes, the girl can rap, but make us feel your lyrics. What is that you said? Make it stick. And I just feel like either the songs are not strong enough, or the lyrics in the songs are not strong enough, or something in the flow doesn't allow her to deliver the punchlines in a way that we feel it and let it sink in. Because going to Nicki, this is why I feel like Nicki is number one. Nicki does not need all the bells and whistles and performance element and creativity all of the time. Well, majority of the time, being honest with you. Why? Because she can stand there, rap her lyrics, and she's also gonna let it sink in. I make fun of Nicki all the time for doing the point at the crowd, but some of that is necessary, because when you can really get into what you said, after all of that surgery, you're still ugly. That is what gets me.
Now, I also want to say Megan Thee Stallion is in a catch-22 here with certain people, especially Nicki Minaj fans. We're going to be honest, not to isolate that thing or be a part of the war. I don't want no parts of that war. Had enough of it last year. If Megan Thee Stallion goes up on that stage, does not do the dancing, does not have the production value, does not have, multiple moving parts to the show and a flow and some variety in what it is that she's doing presentation-wise, those very same talking points would be the reasons why people complain. Why didn't she move around? Why didn't she dance? Why didn't she invest more into the show, into the production value? Why didn't she have more dancers? Why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that? So you take anything away from Megan Thee Stallion's show, then you're going to have a whole nother group of people that say, well, why didn't she do that? So that's the catch-22 that she exists within. Because if she stands in one place and she doesn't engage, then it's like, oh, it looks like this was really boring. She's not doing nothing. I expect so much more. Look at the other girls in the game that are doing choreographed steps and doing all of this. So in some people's eyes, I don't think she's ever going to be enough.
With her since Christopher Reeves. Like, she's going to let you feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you say? You say you look up to her, but really you look up to me. You really, what are you saying? Let's talk about it.
And y'all remember when Nicki performed that very record, Big Difference, at the VMAs when she hosted? Remember, she had technical difficulties in the mic. You really couldn't hear her. Sounded like she was screaming. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. If the mic is not necessarily on your side, the production crew is not making sure your levels are good, no matter what you do, no matter how great of a performer you are, it's going to make you look slightly less because the production is not at its elite level for whatever it is that you're trying to do. So I think that also should be taken into consideration as well, as far as clarity, because she had multiple mic issues. It was acknowledged earlier.
I'm on a whole nother level. These bitches is out of their league. These bitches not bad like me. These bitches not better than me. Like, I feel like Megan Thee Stallion, even if she was going to do that ungrateful, whichever bitch want to come get it, I got it, I'm giving out work, come apply.
She killed that, by the way.
Like, she really needed to let us understand. They got a sub. They got a tweet. Like really let us know, talk you know what I mean? I just feel like she's not able to, really stand in her confidence and really just deliver the bars. It's too much performance and not enough rap MC. It's not enough muscle around her delivery. And I don't know if that's because of the way that it was written and the flow, or she just not saying nothing that'll really make it stick. Does that make sense? Because that's kind of really my thing. Everything was great, but something still was missing. It's like when you eat food, and the food tastes good, but you're still a little hungry. Like you're still thinking, I need just something to top me off. You know? No Diddy. And so I think that is where the disconnect with Meg is. Like, as much as she's a great writer, great performer, great rapper, her delivery in her bars is not strong enough for, like, we can't rap with you, you know? Especially.
Once again, this comes back to him not liking the music that was released most recently. Because if you're a Megan Thee Stallion fan, if you're knowledgeable of the actual lyrics, I'm sure every single hottie that was tuned in to Coachella was rapping along to the lyrics. So I think that's where, this kind of bias kicks in. And again, I fuck with Armon. I'm not trying to create no friction or nothing like that, which is why I'm speaking very clearly, concisely, to where it's like, just hear me out. Because you weren't invested into this previous era of Megan Thee Stallion. You're not riding around bumping her music. You're not learning the lyrics. You're not really like locked into what she's got going on. You're more so a Nicki Minaj type of person, which whatever side you fall on, I don't care. Again, I don't want none of that back and forth stuff. But whatever artist it is that you're more enthralled, you're more entertained by, you're more, into the lore and the aura of that artist, that's going to be the person that you're going to give that emotional reaction to. That's the person you're going to be invested in. That's the person you're going to sing along with, right? Just like you may like a specific artist, but you may not buy a ticket to their show because I like their music, but am I going to spend this money for this show or am I going to spend money for that show? And it's not that other artist is lesser of an artist or lesser of a performer. It's just you're more emotionally invested in that other one. So you're probably prone to have a better time at that other artist show. And I think that's exactly what we're experiencing in Armon's coverage. It's kind of comparing this to an artist who wasn't even there. Like, I could see if Megan Thee Stallion took the stage at Coachella, Nicki Minaj took the stage at Coachella over the weekend, and if we still want to be, in the heat of whatever that battle is or whatever that back and forth comparison is, let's compare two artists that were on the same platform over the same weekend and say, okay, based on what was presented under the same conditions, whether that be the weather, whether that be the production, whether that be the crowd, you know what I'm saying? They're working under the same stimuli to say, okay, now let's see how they both perform under the same exact conditions in the same, time period. Then we could say, okay, I enjoyed this one better than that for this reason. When both of them were faced with adversity, this one adjusted better. You know what I'm saying? I think that is a way more fair thing. But Nicki wasn't even in the game. She wasn't even in the conversation. And that's not a shot. It's just the truth. So I think that's what we're dealing with here, is being compared to somebody who was shouldn't even be in the conversation right now.
Especially in a live performance. I feel like in a live performance, that is when you really engage the crowd. Yes, you can shake your booty and, do your thing like that. That's cute. But you're a rapper. We want to hear you spit and make it stick and let it land, especially because we know you busting shots. You busting shots at the girls on the internet. You slightly busting shots at Nicki. You busting shots at the fan throughout her music. Then you're trolling with the Bigfoot. Now let's move over to the Bigfoot. This is kind of where it's not like a loss of respect, but it's like, girl, pick a side. Either you're going to address it or you're not. Here we are a year later, and now you're taunting the Bigfoot stuff, but you acting like you don't want to get into the field. Keep the Bigfoot stuff. Keep it. Why give that if you're not going to get in the field? Because it almost feels like you're trying to gaslight the Barbs and you're trying to use them and I get it. But you try to throw the rock and hide your hand in like a subtle taunt. But it's like, girl, why play these games? You're a rapper, right? You didn't even perform his. Why didn't she perform his? I'm going to just assume she didn't perform his because she ran out of time. But my thing is you're not gonna if you're not gonna do the Megan's Law line, keep Keep the big foot out. If you're not going to really address it and you acting like you scared to really go battle with her, stop trolling.
All right. Now, as far as not performing this also could be because Megan's coming back this weekend. Okay? That's the other thing. She had one set that she did weekend 1. Who's to say she doesn't come back week 2 and reconstruct her whole set list and do hits and do Cobra, she's got a lot of records that didn't make that first set list, right? And you would think, all right, if she came out the first week and there were things left out and she's got to come back and do it again, she's going to have to bring out some other guns for the second weekend in order to keep people captivated. Otherwise, it's going to be, all right, we saw that last week. Why am I tuning in, right? So I think she held back some of her missiles or, whatever you want to call them so that she could still have another clip for week 2 where she can have some variation between the two performances. I don't know if Armon knows she's coming back this weekend, and maybe that may be a little bit of why he's questioning that, but I think that got lost in translation a little bit. But the Bigfoot thing, if you're going to call me Bigfoot, I can do whatever I want with it. I think that's fair. If I want to do my whole tour with Bigfoot coming out on stage, you diss me, you call me Bigfoot. If I want to take that negative and turn it into a positive, I'm eating, you know what I'm saying? I own my records. I'm not asking no labels for nothing. I'm out here doing what the fuck I want to do. I did a self-funded, 2 albums. I did my tour with no major label behind me. I mean, well, she did have a major label, as in her distribution partner, but I don't think they were necessarily involved with all of that. But whatever it was, like, yeah, I'm gonna turn all of this into whatever I want, right? Just like if Nicki wanted to create Nicki's Law, and that be something that shows on the Jumbotron at her stage, and she wanted to repurpose that, go from Megan's Law to Nicki's Law, and she do something clever with that. I'm sure Megan's fans ain't going to be happy about it, but Nicki's fans would love it. You know what I'm saying? So this is where that war kind of overtakes the appreciation for each artist on their own individual merit. That's how I'm taking this, all right? I'm not going to watch the rest because I feel like he's going to get more into the passive aggression thing, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I understand where he's coming from, especially as he is more aligned with Nicki Minaj as an artist. But I wanted to just react to this because, again, this has been going viral on Twitter. It ended up making its way into my feed because some people tagged me on somebody else that had posted this. And again, I have nothing against Armon. I'm not trying to battle with Armon. I'm not trying to engage in a debate with Armon. Just giving countering thoughts to another brother in the space. All right. Let me know what y'all think of all this, though. All right, that's all I got for y'all. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, become an insider. I will catch y'all on the next one. Much love and respect. Peace. King of my city and cul-de-sac. Coming out swinging like soldier rag. Leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind. Knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive. I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda. We hitting the jeweler to flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer. We come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. But drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they died of me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I been dropping these haters like calories. Cross some out, came back with some boundaries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. Wanna catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be humble.